Hello and good afternoon, Connecticut. How is everyone today? We are in the home stretch. It is almost Memorial Day weekend, and thank you everyone for joining. I'm going to wait about another minute or so for more people to join, and hope you are all able to use your Uber Eats and enjoy lunch while watching this. If you didn't get to use the code, I believe it should be good to use until Friday afternoon. And let me know in the Q&A box what you ordered for lunch. So for our work, we had Boudin Bakery. If you guys don't have Boudin in Connecticut, I think you guys might. It seems pretty popular. It's like Panera bread. So what our office does, we get a lot of bread. So sourdough bread, white bread, like different varieties. And then we do like a create your own sandwich on Tuesdays with cheeses. We had this really good chicken salad. It had some sliced grapes in it, almonds. We had tuna salad and a lot of different deli cuts. So let me see what you guys ordered. Okay, looks like someone ordered. I see burgers. I see pizza. I'm assuming maybe like, I don't know if you guys like thin slice in like New England area or deep dish. I think that's more Midwest. I see someone got a salad, chicken salad. It's really great. Um, Yeah, I see like soup and salad. We're actually about to have some leftovers from yesterday, and our office manager, she brought in some soup. So I'm really excited for right now. We're in the Silicon Valley. Lunch isn't for another 3 hours, but hopefully you guys are enjoying your food. All right. I think we got a lot more people that have joined in. I'm seeing a lot of great organizations here. I see family centers, social organizations, environmental, schools. So before we start, just wanted to do some housekeeping. So at the end of this presentation, I'll be following up with an email to provide the HRCI and shroom credits. If you have any questions today, I'll do my best to check that Q&A box and get back to you as soon as possible. These questions will be saved. I may not be able to address questions as they come up, but we'll be able to address them in the follow-up email. And also, if you want further information, feel free to respond to that follow-up email. And we're also going to send recordings separately from Zoom that you can share with your colleagues. So today we're going to talk about Connecticut nonprofits and unemployment. Before I get started, just wanted to do a quick intro of myself. My name is Janessa Ponko. I'm the membership development representative here at 501c Services. I've been in sales since 2016. I was selling vendor boot space at a wedding fair for 3 years. I set up meetings for tech startups during the pandemic, and currently I'm scheduling appointments with nonprofits here at 501 since July 2023. And the image of people bowling is of me and some of my sales and marketing team members. Heidi is my manager in the middle. You may work with her in the future. And Evan is on the right, who works on our marketing and web development. I'm really excited to be part of a company that's been helping nonprofits save time and money that can go towards furthering their mission. Our company is based in San Jose, California, so we're in the heart of Silicon Valley, and we're dedicated to helping nonprofits reduce unemployment expenses across the nation. And thank you again for joining to learn more about cost-effective strategies and managing unemployment in your state. So we're going to provide a broad overview on how unemployment insurance works, alternatives for 501c3 nonprofits when it comes to unemployment, how reimbursing works. We're also going to use some real life examples of nonprofits we've helped with our cost analysis, and finally provide more information on our company 501c services and how many of our Connecticut nonprofits, we have over 40 that have benefited from our services. So first of all, just wanted to start off with a little history to put unemployment in perspective. Unemployment started in the US in the 1930s following the Great Depression and New Deal, where the federal government wanted to create a safety net for workers who lost their jobs through no fault of their own. From 1930 to 1972, 501c3 organizations didn't pay into unemployment benefits for separate employees. Although this saved them money from paying these taxes, employees that were laid off couldn't reap the benefits of that safety net that for profit companies had provided. Now, fast forward to 1972, the federal government changed the law under the Social Security Act to where nonprofits must pay into unemployment, but they were provided different options in how they pay, so the tax wouldn't be seen as an unnecessary expense for them. Unemployment is overseen on the federal level. However, each state gets to manage their own programs however they choose. So throughout the US, you can see different taxable wage bases, tax rates, benefit amounts. But today we're just going to cover information here in Connecticut. When it comes to management, unemployment rates can be adjusted annually and are adjusted by experience. For instance, if you have a year or two of bad claims, your tax rate will increase. Most states, including Connecticut, run as a risk pool. So what you put in does not necessarily equate to what you'll get out. And we are seeing that a lot of nonprofits are putting more money into that pool than what they are getting out of it. And these total tax liabilities by employers are often greater than the claims paid, with reserves used in times of recession. The tax liability is calculated by multiplying your taxable wage base by your employer tax rate. Take a guess on what a single claim can cost in Connecticut. Feel free to put in the Q&A box. So I'm seeing I got 11,230, 1375, 14,200. I got 15,000. I'm seeing 16,500, 17,800. So just as a little hint, the total cost is looking at the weekly benefit maximum times the maximum number of weeks someone can claim. So that maximum number of weeks is 26 weeks. I'll read a few more guesses. So I have 10,000, 11,000. So the maximum amount a single person can claim in unemployment in Connecticut can cost $18,746. Just as a caveat, this is what an employer is charged for employee benefits by the state. Those extended benefits you saw during the recession and extra COVID payments, they were covered by the federal government. So the maximum weekly benefit in Connecticut is $721. When we multiply that number by 26 is how we get that $18,746 for the maximum of what a single person can claim on unemployment. The federal government sets the wage base at a minimum of $7,000 and there's no maximum. Connecticut's taxable wage base is currently set at $26,100, which means for the first $26,100 an employee earns, your organization is taxed on that. The minimum tax rate is at 1.1%, maximum tax rate is 8.9%, and those are both set by the state. And the tax rate is calculated by adding the charge rate and fund balance rate, which will be on your tax rate notice. We're going to go over the tax rate notice in the next few slides. The charge rate will vary based on individual employer experience, and the fund balance rate is the same for all employers in the state. So you'd add them together to get your total contribution rate. And the last thing I want to note from the last slide is the improper payment rate, which is 20.17%. And this overpayment equates to around $292 million in overpayments to former employees who are collecting unemployment from the past 3 years. This is information we get from the Department of Labor. You can see that Connecticut is one of the many states that's greater than 13%. This is important to know as we really encourage you to look over your claims, make sure that you're not overpaying for anybody's claims. And here at 501, we help organizations monitor this. And if you are managing on your own, you want to make sure that you are properly charged for a former employee's weekly benefit amount. For the past 3 years, Connecticut's taxable wage base has been steadily increasing and went up over $11,000 from 2023 to 2025. This is important to note because with the taxable wage base growing, you'll be paying more in SUI if you're not reimbursing already. In this example, if you're an organization with 100 employees and your tax rate stays the same each year at 4%, with the taxable wage base rising, you're now paying approximately over $44,000 more in taxes in 2025 than what you were paying in 2023. So there are three different alternatives for unemployment. One is that you pay that state tax that we mentioned earlier with the tax rate that's set by the state and taxable wages. Another option is that you can self-insure or reimburse for your unemployment, where you just pay dollar per dollar for your unemployment claims. So you're only paying for the benefits issued. And then the last option is kind of a hybrid of both, where you buy insurance that offers the savings of reimbursing and also providing that safety net. So just let you know, reimbursing is not for everyone. The qualifications we look at for considering reimbursing is that an organization must be a 501(c)(3) nonprofit. It excludes religious institutions. And we recommend a gross annual payroll of $1 million or more because typically, if your payroll is under a million, especially significantly less, what you're paying into the state tax pool probably is pretty minimal, and you might not see much significant savings by opting out. However, there may be some scenarios where you could see potential savings, so we'd be happy to look at your numbers even if you're just slightly less than a million. And then we also look at a positive audit of the past 3 years. So that means in order for reimbursing to benefit you, we try to evaluate if what you paid each year in taxes exceeds what you pay in claims. We want to make sure that there's no major disruption in funding for the next 24 months. So we do recommend to stay with paying the state tax if you might have anything from layoffs, reduction in workforce, losing funds, or closing programs where your tax rates may go up with experience. And then you'll probably want to wait once those claims decrease. What it means to reimburse is that your tax rate turns to 0%, and the state will bill you only for the unemployment claims you receive over the quarter. It's a great way for nonprofits to save money and be a better steward of donor dollars. The process is seamless for separate employees. No matter how your employees separated, they'll still go through the same process of EDD, where the state determines their benefit amount based on their base period pay. And the only change is how that quarterly bill is calculated. Instead of the state unemployment insurance tax, you're now only responsible for charges your organization incurs. We work with around 1,500 nonprofits across the nation. Over 40 of them are in Connecticut. So you're probably wondering what motivates them to reimburse. In most cases, reimbursing saves money. On average, savings can be anywhere from 20 to 40% compared to paying into the state tax. And this is really the driver for most organizations to switch. Reimbursing eliminates any concern of changes in that state tax, such as tax hikes you can't control. And you become a better steward of donor dollars as you just pay for your actual claims than into the state pool. Because unemployment is managed by the federal government big picture, reimbursing is allowed in all 50 states, best with employers with over $1 million in payroll and at least 15 or more full-time employees. If you're on the borderline, we can still certainly talk, as sometimes there may be circumstances where we can consider reimbursing for your organization. If you're smaller and reimbursing already, we can still consider you for our services and how we can help you reduce your risk. So I do want to talk about how SUI is calculated. And like I mentioned earlier, I'll show some real cost assessments we've done in the past. The taxable wage base is customized by each state. So in Connecticut, that taxable wage base is at $26,100. All employers in the state pay the same taxable wage base. It represents the first $26,100 of an employee's earnings. There's no maximum and can increase or decrease by any amount each year. The tax rate is set annually by the state and is based by experience. To calculate the contribution amount, you multiply the taxable wage base by the tax rate. So for Connecticut, it's at $26,100 times the range of 1.1 to 8.9%. And this amount means that if each employee makes over $26,100, a company is paying in between $287.1 to $2,322.9 per employee in unemployment. What we do to get the ball rolling on a cost assessment is that we look at your tax rate notice, and Connecticut's tax rate notice provides us with most of the information we need to do to conduct an analysis. The tax rate notice includes that tax rate, which is calculated by combining the charge rate and fund balance tax rate. In this example, the organization paid around $12,000 in claims and over $62,000 in taxes. So this organization overpaid over $50,000, and we recommended for this organization to consider reimbursing. The next two slides will also feature organizations we've helped with our analysis that also had large overpayments, and eventually they became reimbursing employers. Also, there's no need to understand every number. We'd be happy to look at your numbers and see where you may potentially save. So in this first example of a human services nonprofit we worked with, the taxable payroll was just shy of $1 million, tax rate of 4.7%, estimated claims only around $200 per year. And in this case, we looked at a 3-year average of claims. So they were overpaying $45,000 a year. Think of what you can do with an additional $45,000. For this next example, the taxable payroll is around $700,000, tax rate 3.38%, estimated annual claims around $5,900, estimated unemployment taxes were around $24,000, so they overpaid around $18,000. So a little bit more about our company. We were founded in 1982 by a former UCP executive, John Hugstad. He was looking ways to save money for his organization, so he came up with the idea of starting a trust. He came up with the first kind of grantor trust. It's called the Joint Unemployment Compensation Trust that eventually became 501c Services, also 501c Agencies Trust. We started at about 25 members here in San Jose and have now grown to helping over 3,000 nonprofits in various ways. In 2016, John sold the company back to his employees, so we're now 100% employee owned. From our receptionist to the CEO, every member is committed to our company and serving our members across the nation. Our services are valued tremendously by our trust members, with our company having over a 98% retention rate. And here are a couple of testimonials our members have shared, and you can go back to these later as I'll send the slides after the presentation. And this is a clip from our 40th anniversary celebration a few years ago that includes testimonials from Anika Lund and Mike Hoffman from Start Early, Mary Sue and Michael Eady from CISC, Sandy Leota and Chris Marshall of Baltimore Center Stage, and Phyllis Austin and Jason Penniger from Boys and Girls Clubs of America.
What makes me passionate about working for a non-for-profit organization is because I knew I always wanted to work for a mission-driven organization.
Our mission is to work with immigrant communities so that they can achieve the American dream.
501 helps focus our service to the community by giving us more time.
501 helps us focus on serving our communities by providing services directly to our HR professionals.
The biggest benefit for working with 501 is really the transparency and ability to forecast our costs when it comes to our unemployment benefits.
They also keep our cash flow steady through claims that are sound and take a lot of the admin burden off of us so we can just stay on autopilot.
We're very grateful for all the support you provided over the last 4 decades, and we wish you continued success in the future.
Congratulations, 501, on your 40th anniversary. It's been a pleasure serving with you for the last 24 years.
And like I've said earlier, we work with over 40 Connecticut nonprofits. And here's a quick snapshot of a few nonprofits here in the state that are members. Just like you heard in the video, we help nonprofits relieve administrative burdens that can come with managing unemployment. The first way we help nonprofits is through claims management. So our team will help you manage, audit, protest claims. We offer unlimited access to hearing reps, and our team has an 80% average win protest rate. And you'll have a dedicated claims manager once you become a member of the trust. All your claims will go through this online portal where you'll be notified when a claim has been filed. So you'll go into the portal and respond to these questions. And if in any case you ever go on PTO and forget to delegate these tasks, it shouldn't be a problem for when a claim isn't responded to in several days. It gets escalated and handled. A big part of our claims management is that our team doesn't want to see any of your organizations overpay or get hit by those Connecticut error rates. So we can audit those charges for you or prevent you from paying for a claim when someone gets terminated. We want to make sure that you're managing these claims and have enough support to do so. Our HR services include 3 components. We offer access to unlimited HR consultations. We're a small, dedicated team that can answer any of your HR related questions. So if you ever have an ongoing issue, you can develop rapport with a person who will support you and manage any of those HR questions. We also have trainings throughout the year that are HRCI and SHROOM certified. We also have an online knowledge library that's part of our services. With the $721 maximum weekly benefits here in Connecticut, our goal is to help you keep that cost as low as possible. If you ever lay someone off, we have our reemployment tool that offers packages that can range from online coaching, interview techniques, and resume writing. It's never fun to let someone go, but at least you can give them the safety net and resources to help them secure a new job faster, and which in return can help your organization save more money. And the protection part is the insurance part of our program. Most of our members take our stop loss protection, which helps our members during catastrophic claims. Other than those catastrophic claims, we have the trust account. It's kind of like a savings 101. This is a reserve account owned by our organization where you would save for those possible unexpected number of claims. So I hope this sparked your interest, and maybe some of you may want to manage your unemployment through us as a reimbursing employer. If you wanted to look into potential savings, what I would need from you is your 941s and estimated payroll from 2023 to 2024 as a reimburser. And if you're paying into the state tax system, I would need a copy of your 2025 tax rate notice, so the most recent notice that you got. It would also be helpful if you have your 2023 and 2024 tax rate notice. So we could look at additional data points for you, but no worries. We can also just make an analysis with the 2025 tax rate notice. So I don't currently see any questions, and I will stay on for another minute or so if you are still typing. Otherwise, I will sign off and start sending the follow-up emails with a copy of the slides and credits. It should be sent to you within the next few hours. If you're still typing as I log off, please feel free to respond to the upcoming email. And thank you everyone again for joining this presentation. Looking forward to speaking with some of you soon. So if you do have any further questions, this is my contact info. Be on the lookout in the next few hours. We'll send the Zoom recording presentation in the next few hours, and then make sure you look for that follow-up email I'll be sending. Thank you so much, and hope everyone has a great lunch.